So it's actually worse than we think for like total opportunity and how many are moving, because the resale got cut in half. The pre-con's 95% gone, if not more.
TK, welcome to the show. It's the Canadian Real Estate Show Live, the new edition. Holy cow, how did this happen, TK?
2.0. Listen, we did a little name change in the past.
Bad move.
Changey. But that was all the original version of the show.
The original version of the show.
Remember the
TK?
Toronto real estate show?
Oh, right. At the beginning, we were the Toronto Real Estate Show. That's right.
Talked about Toronto real estate.
Lots of Toronto real estate.
Canadian real estate.
Little Canadian
under
real
the
estate.
table stuff. That was okay.
That didn't go very well, TK.
Back to Canadian real estate, But here we are.
Tail between our legs.
2.0.
So 2.0, and what you mean by that, TK, is we're going to start doing a live show on Saturdays, right? We're going to turn this, I guess, into the podcast, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun because we were getting a little stale there, TK, weren't we?
We were having fun, but we just want to have more fun. We
want to have more
high
fun.
standards, you and I. We got busy lives.
Right.
You got to have high standards on what you want to get out of this podcast, and we're going to make it happen for ourselves.
Right. So you can expect more nothing from this podcast as always, TK, because we're here for the people, right? We're here for the people. Now, what do we have to talk about today? Holy Jesus.
What's going on in Toronto?
What's going on in Toronto? There's a lot of stuff going on currently in Toronto right now. And I mean, God, we don't have to tell, I don't think, anybody that the condo market is a disaster, but we don't want to talk about that right now. It's not a good time to talk about that right now. There are, some positive signs in the market right now, believe it or not. And I know
let's start
people,
with the good stuff.
As much as our audience loves the negative stuff, TK, and as much as we love to feed them their negative energy, I think it is prudent today because it's in the news. It's not just, Darryl Frankfort, the guy building luxury stuff that's pumping the market, right? This is the Toronto Star. There's a Financial Post.
Can't trust that source.
Can't trust that source for nothing. That's right, TK.
The guy who sells umbrellas is telling me it's going to rain tomorrow,
That's right. Absolutely. Well done, TK. Well done, TK. You earned that one, TK. Well done. But, it's true. What's interesting right now, and I guess the rest of the market is finally starting to catch up, TK, because there's only really 2 games in town, and we've talked about it a lot. But now, other than me talking about it, luxury is getting a little bit of press because there's a project by another developer called North Drive in the Bridle Path area, and they're kind of, I guess they're pioneers because nothing has been built in this area for like 30 years, condo-wise. I think 25 or 26 years. And so, I guess there's a reason for that, right?
NIMBYs.
Well, NIMBYs was a giant part of it, that's for sure. Big time NIMBYs. But planning's changed and people recognized it, and some people were ahead of others, and North Drive was way ahead of everybody. And they got one of the best properties in the area, and they're selling. And the good news is that they got to the threshold that they needed to start construction. And in a market where everybody, TK, is getting fucking pummeled,
dying to get to that.
Dying. Wishing
love to get to that threshold.
Actually, most people, they're not even trying to get to that threshold right now because it's not even possible, right? It's not going to work, and they all know it. So there are a few people in the luxury space that have launched product. I do see like houses, townhouses, single-family houses on the outskirts of town still kind of popping up in my feed. Mm-hmm. But, luxury condos for big luxury condos for wealthy downsizers, whether people like it or not.
It was a product type that wasn't being made for a decade. There was just no reason to because it was so much risk. there was so much, marketing involved. There was so much less buyers involved. There was more like difficult buyers. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna be so picky with all the choices and all that kind of stuff like that. It was just like the developers could have done that 10 years ago, but they were like, hey, these investors are all going to buy these 500 square foot units based on a piece of paper, and they're going to line up for it, and we're going to get a great return on our money, right?
Yeah.
And that was the easier product to sell. So why would you do luxury? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I'm double subscribed. Do it yourself. Didn't get to fix the show, though. Didn't get to fix the show.
Well, and then if you take demographics into account, which I don't hear as part of the story, but the people that were looking for homes were not these downsizing, super wealthy people. Like, they hadn't made it to that point yet. And back then, there were far less of them, right? Like, there seems to be a more wealthy people in their 60s or so that might be ready to downsize than there would have been 20 years ago. And that's just
good point. That's a great point. Yeah, demographics. Also, who would buy pre-construction? Who knows where they're going to live in 4 years from now?
Right.
So for you to be able to say at 50 years old, I want to buy a home now that I'm going to be able to have ready for me in 5 years, but I don't plan on needing it for another 15. That's not a really plausible storyline. They're just like, let it get built. I'll buy one resale when the time comes. So just bottom line is none of these style of units were getting built.
No, and now if you take somebody that's kind of in their 60s, early 60s, mid 60s, that has a lot of money, and they see something that they might want to live in, they are actually forward thinking. These people don't make their fortunes because they just think 2 minutes ahead, right? They're planning, they're strategic, they need to do things. And if you hit it right and you hit the right area, I mean, to be the first ones to build condos in an area that hasn't seen a new condo in 25 to 30 years, I mean, like, there has to be some kind of, right, there has to be some demand pent up, right? Because whether people want to realize it or want to accept this idea or not, because everybody's focused on affordable housing. But listen, rich people need fucking houses too, and that's just a fact.
Doesn't anybody ever think of the rich people?
They're so underprivileged,
underrepresented.
They're
in our
underrepresented
communities,
for sure.
You know what I mean? Nobody's ever sitting there saying, we want to lower taxes for rich people. We want to create more housing for rich people. We want more rich people to be able to find a place to live in our country and to prosper. No one's ever thinking about the rich people.
Well, but now they kind of are starting to, because they're starting to try and attract better people through immigration, right? Like, people that are starting companies and people that are professionals, and not just any person who's willing to come into the country, right, TK? I mean, that makes a difference, I think, to the amount of money they have when they come over, at least.
Sure, but the economics of it all, Darryl, is it's only the rich people who have money still to buy property.
They're the only ones.
That's it. So you got to target the rich.
Well,
they need a product type first in order for them to say that's worthy of me spending my money on. And thankfully there is no competition.
Thankfully, there isn't much competition, but I mean, you can see the competition is starting to mount, and that there's more and more people that are getting into the space, or more and more people were starting to come into the space. And now I think this news will give people a lot of confidence to maybe move forward with the property or the project that they were thinking. Now, there is a big difference, and we talked about it a bunch of times, between the luxury market and what those people actually really want. And the market so far, for the most part, has not hit the target, right?
Yes.
And so,
case in point, the property at 429 Walmer. Great building.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's super cool. Like, it's way better than all the other condo buildings that have been built over the last handful of years.
Yeah.
Amenity wise, space wise, terraces, even the finishes are better.
Yeah.
But it was still reminiscent of the typical condo building.
Typical condo building.
Yeah.
Well,
and I don't think sales are doing well there based on my limited knowledge of the entire project.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, TK. And I don't know if that's factual. I guess that it is. I mean, I've heard some things about the project as well, but you never know what you hear out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I believe that there's a market for everything, but not right now. right? Right
Sure.
now, it seems that you really have to be, top notch to get things done in pre-construction. And there isn't much out there like that. So there isn't much evidence of that.
Yeah.
But you can see anecdotally and in the data that the product is moving. And just the fact that it's in the news and that it made the headlines. And then, everybody in Toronto was just sending me that article and this news every 10 minutes the last
do
couple
what?
days.
To scare you, or what are they trying to do?
No, it's good news because I own a property right across the street, don't forget, right?
Oh, sorry. That article. Yeah.
Right,
I thought you
so
meant the 269 sales in January.
No. Well, listen, we got a great guest who knows more about condos than the two of us. We should talk about that, I think, when he gets on the call.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the article about Two Post Road breaking ground being such a big deal, right? Because everybody else is falling flat. These guys are moving forward with construction in the high-end space. And so, I mean, most people aren't in the high-end space. There's a lot of guys that have come in recently that are trying things. And again, it's like, if you don't hit the right market right now, it's just going to take a lot longer to find the market that you decided to cater for, right? Because there's like this weird middle place, right, where your condo's so expensive, but you're not quite giving them everything that they're looking for. So why are they buying? I mean, it's not like somebody who just had a baby and they're living in a condo and they're moving up to $900,000 semi somewhere in Roncesvalles. This is like a giant purchase, right? These are $5, $6, $10, $15 million purchases, depending on where. Some people are spending $25 million on a condo, at the top penthouse of the Four Seasons or whatever. People are spending crazy money on condos, and it's not just something that you just do quickly and without thinking, right? Yeah. It's a very different process, a very different buyer. And if you try and appeal to the typical condo buyer, but you're in this price point that who the fuck can afford, right? Like you're talking, I don't know, 2,500 square feet at $2,000 a foot, right? How much does that turn into?
If you follow the luxury markets in the States, I love looking into what's going on in Palm Springs. I love to see what's going on in parts of Miami. I love to see, some of the, big California estates and stuff like that people are trading. I'm telling you right now, there's no shortage of people to buy real estate. Actually, when you look at it, the people who are making money in areas other than real estate, I know they do that in other countries, guys. You guys might not understand this, that people make money outside of real estate in other countries like America and Europe and stuff like that. I know that's weird, right? That's weird. But people do have jobs outside of real estate in those places. And when they go to look at real estate, it's for them, it's just like, their yacht is more than their real estate. Mm-hmm. So for them, it's like, hey, I'm going to go and buy something for 60, 80, $100 million, whatever the price tag is, to be able to accumulate a certain amount of land to build in the properties that they want. In Toronto, we don't have that same luxury. If you want to be in Toronto, which is it's a number one city in Canada. It's obviously, if it were an American city, probably like a top 5 city or something like that. You know what I mean? Like in North America, pretty important city overall. We just don't have that geography. We've got a protected outer layer on the outside of the city. We got the lake to the south. There's only so much land you're going to be able to accumulate. So how do people win the pissing contest? Well, it's how many square feet are you going to get in the building, right?
Yeah.
Similar to Manhattan, right? I mean, that is what the big draw is. And people might say, well, we're not New York. But when you look at the geography, we just don't have the capability of somebody going, and look at traffic. You think they want to be living up in King City? You think they want to go to these places and have to be driving around all day long? They don't.
And who wants to live downtown now on top of it? It's like, if you can have something central and quiet and secure and has all of the things that you're looking for, I mean, how often is that going to come up, especially in this environment? I mean, there's only so many people, one, that are buying land, for God's sakes, but two, that want to get into this space, because it's not normal. Most companies are not set up to build, every unit custom, right?
Yeah.
This is not a typical kind of thing.
You can't do it on 200 units.
You can't. We are starting something new on the show today, TK, and we have callers calling in, and we have our first caller. We got Chet from Alberta calling in right now, TK. Chet, are you there?
Chet, breathe. Just remember to breathe. Hey guys, it's me, Chet from Manitoba calling in. I'm so nervous. I've been watching this show since the very first episode. TK, I love you. Darryl, you're the best. You're the man. You're the man of the people. Darryl, I love you. I gotta go, guys. Okay, thanks for taking the call.
Okay.
All right.
Chet
Well, it's a
from
good start.
Alberta. He didn't
good
really
start.
say anything there, though, did he, TK? But thanks for calling.
Seemed like that
the
was, a big fan. We appreciate
Sounds like
you.
a nice guy. Thanks for calling in, Chet. I guess there's nobody else right now waiting to call in, so we do have another article, believe it or not, TK, that I was looking at this week that was talking about luxury rental buildings and how there's a new one in Toronto in Toronto. There's a new one in Toronto that's being built right now. It's in, I think, the Rosedale area. They're renting for, I don't know if they've rented or they're out there leasing. Crazy, like $10 a square foot, huge units, like just
insane,
unbelievable. But it speaks to the same conversation that we're already having. Like there are a lot of people, believe it or not, that are renting luxury units. The problem is it's the same problem as the condos. There's nothing to choose from. So you don't really have much unless you're looking at a condo that somebody owns in a hotel deal,
Or there's one or two units like that. So I was in a building of a developer on this week at some point. And so he brought us to the penthouse and he built like first couple floors like 1 bedrooms. The next couple floors are like 2 bedrooms, maybe 900,000, 1,200 square feet.
Where's this?
Niagara. And then penthouse, 3,000 square foot, 2,600 square foot, 2,500 square foot, 3,000 square, like 4 or 5 units that were all just like these massive 2 and 3 bedroom units.
Wow.
So typically that's how a building would be constructed. And that's extreme. But, when you look at it, in the whole entire Toronto area, how many places would have a whole building full of 2 and 3 bedroom units? 0.
No.
So these luxury rental buildings now are finding ways to make larger units too. They're taking the same thing out of your playbook here. It's not just about the price per square foot and the amenities. It's also about giving people the space they need.
Well, and so this is the thing, is that what you'll see on a lot of these projects that are out, whether they're condos or they're even, I think, this purpose-built rental, to be quite honest with you, and whether they rent or not or sell or not, I have no idea. But I think for the most part, they're way too small, the units still. Because again, like these people, for the most part, they're not coming from 1,200 square feet and moving up to, 1,800 thinking it's the best thing in the world. These people are moving down from 10,000, right? And so even 2,500, they're going, where the fuck am I putting all this stuff, right? Yeah. And the type of person that's looking at renting something like this, like, believe it or not, it's somewhat normal to be, a CEO that might only be around for a couple of years, or somebody that wants a second house in Toronto but doesn't want to, pay all the land transfer taxes and fees and everything, and just has more optionality to live in this country and this city and over here and over there for a year or two or whatever. For the amount of demand that there is for that, there's literally no supply. Like there's none.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I also saw a interesting article about the number of liquid millionaires in Toronto, right? And it's a huge number. And who do they compare us to? I can't remember, but people just forget about the total amount of wealth that's in Toronto, right? When you look at the total number of people in Toronto as far as the total population, and then you look at the number of available homes for sale and the number of obviously investments to make and all that kind of stuff, like per capita, Toronto does really, really, really well,
right?
And that it's been underserved, even though we've been building and we said, well, we've got all this construction going on. Where do the wealthy want to live? They all want to live in Central Toronto. What I'm seeing in Central Toronto right now with my clients for buying resale homes is competition, bully offers, not enough inventory, all those things that mean prices are going to go up.
Right.
And I'm not saying prices are going up in those areas, but I tell you right now, if the conditions remain the same, they will.
Yeah.
because there's just no inventory. And anything that's good that comes up and priced well, people are jumping on it. The stuff that's not priced well, it's staying on the market. And eventually people go, oh, I guess nothing's coming up. They get impatient and they buy.
Yeah.
And that creates more supply. And so people want to be in the center parts. They can't create that anymore.
Yeah.
The condos that have all been built, none of them have been luxury. So really, it's actually it's an underserved market, both on freehold and condo.
And I mean, we talked about it a long time ago, the K-shaped recovery. And I mean, if you think about it, and it actually makes sense, the shape of a K, the gap just gets wider and wider and wider, right? So that middle it's so hollow right now, not only because, you know, that people can't afford it. Nobody wants to build in it because you can't even come close to making a profit. And now the real big problem that's happening and that people aren't talking about, I'm the only one that seems to be talking about it. And I bring it up to every guy that's in the rental space right now because I want to see what the hell they're going to say, if they're going to be honest or not. But most of these guys are going for CMHC financing, right? And as part of the CMHC financing, you have to set rental targets, right, that you've agreed on with CMHC. But what's happening right now in an environment where you go down in rents every month for 14 months or 15 months in a row, people are not hitting those targets. And if you don't hit the targets, somebody has to make up the difference with something. And it's called money, and it's called equity. And this market, equity is scarce right now. Right? People do not want to put it into a rental building that didn't just hit the goddamn pro forma mark for the rental, okay?
Why would they? Look at their stock portfolios.
Why the fuck
Why
would
would
they?
Why would they take money out of a return like they're getting right now in the last few years in the stock market to go put it into something that at best, remember there was a saying that I was told to tell you to remember, is that I've never seen a pro forma that doesn't make money.
Right.
Okay.
Well, but see, I have, and I don't buy those deals, right? But a lot of guys, they buy
You wrote
them.
the pro forma.
Well,
You
listen.
took the pro forma and you analyzed it to say, is this going to make money or not? And you're like, oh, this doesn't make money. But who's presented a pro forma that doesn't make money?
Right.
Nobody ever.
Nobody, never.
So-
Why would you?
Exactly. So
Right.
somebody goes out there and they say, you know, what's the real return on my investment here, and the IRR, and where am I going to go with this? And that right now the returns are abysmal. Even that's why nothing's moving in commercial. I was at a place on college today, so we basically looked at, it's going to be a vacant building, 4 units, commercial on the main floor. You know, I said, do rent analysis. Here's what the rents are going to be. This is projected NOI. Here, you know, at today's cap rates, you know, where do we think the value of the building is? How much debt can be on the property? How much money they're going to put in? And what's that IRR over 10 years? I use ChatGPT because I'm doing it on the spot, so I'm like entering everything like that. And you're looking at 3, 4, 5%, assuming that you're going to have some appreciation in the property. You know what I mean? I was just like, so who would want to buy this property?
Yeah.
And that's already at today's cap rates. That's already at a rate that like a purchase price. That's, you know, nothing.
But you're talking about something that's
sounds
built
exciting.
already, and you don't have to go through the whole goddamn thing of development
That's
and
how people
building.
look at money. When you're talking about equity, right?
Sure.
They're looking at their money. They're saying, what am I going to
Why would
get?
I-
What's my return?
Yeah.
Right? So when commercial prices were really high, one, you had a lower interest rate, so obviously you could pay more. But then also you had no other options. Your return on capital in other markets was abysmal. I'm going to get 2% on a GIC. Like there was nothing out there that was guaranteed. So people were saying, hey, if I get 2 or 3% on my real estate, I'm not doing too bad. Now people are like, I want 6-7% or more. Otherwise, I'm not going to get involved.
Right.
And that's why equity's not in the market right now.
Well, there's all kinds of reasons, that's for sure. I don't know if we want to hit this chat for 1 second and see if anything is going on. What do we got happening?
It's hard to
here?
keep up.
It's really hard. Is TK in an injection seat?
Daryl has the button, and if he
Daryl
wants,
has the button. Ready?
he can send me to the moon.
Boom. Dumb, you got big balls. I don't know what that's all about. Why is
Send us a
Mogul?
picture.
Yeah,
Okay, sorry.
why is he saying this? What do we got? Erica Harb? Erica Harb Karish is a realtor in Surrey, the Brampton of BC. Ooh. I enjoy, but the put on the QQ. What is it? Nobody's saying anything
Put
interesting
spreads on
in
the
here.
QQQ daily.
Is
yeah.
Karish a person or an AI? You know, that is a really good question. I wonder if Karish,
Look at the one guy said about the assignment market. I love talking to my guy on the team about assignments just to kind of hear them. I think they're horrible things to be getting involved with, to be honest with you. I deal with them very...
Comment, subscribe, double subscribe. I'm double subscribed. And I fixed the show. I fixed the show.
Sorry about that, TK.
That's
that
okay.
didn't work out according to plan at all.
No problem. Thank you very much, Karish. $630 a square foot assignments.
600. Where's this? Oh no.
According to the comments, which is in line, $600 to $700.
According to the comments,
depending on location. Toronto East. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Is that like east of downtown?
Toronto East
Is
is
that-
like East York, maybe.
Is my
and
volume's too low?
Scarborough.
My volume's too low. Is that true?
TK's volume is too low. Oh, that's
Or is that like Scarborough, or is it like Durham region? Help me out here.
I don't know.
Whole volume is too low. That's what they're saying.
Everybody's volume is too low. I don't know how to change that except yelling into the air and
Or turn
hoping
up your
Aiden.
volume.
Yeah, maybe turn up your volume because I
Yeah.
think we're cranked over here. Does everybody else think that we're too quiet? Are we too quiet? Yes, the whole volume is too low. Dawn's an AI. Normally loud. Okay. Well, listen. If everybody isn't having a problem, I mean, that's
Mine's
the
as
first
mine's as
person.
loud as it gets now.
Now it's way louder. What the hell just happened?
I just turned up my mic.
You can do that? How?
Yeah, sure, Mike. Make sure that you hit the button that says like mic and headphones, and then make sure you.
can't.
I think it's a yellow button, and then
No, I
just
don't-
slide it all the way to the top.
I don't control my mic with that thing. I got this other fucking.
Don't you have a Shure mic?
I do, but I got this other thing on my desk that Aiden gave to me.
Oh, you
Anyways,
got that other cable.
It doesn't really. Yeah, I got this Go XLR thing, or I don't know. But TK, with
Yeah.
that, we can't leave him waiting anymore. We got a big star coming on. the-
Please,
the first
please.
live episode ever.
Toronto's greatest downtown Toronto condo team. From the Tom Story Show, Tom Story. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I knew those shirts are going to be good shirts to wear.
You have the shirt. Welcome.
I gotta tell you guys, I've never fit into a large men's shirt in my life, and this thing is like the tightest large shirt I've ever worn.
Is
in
that
my
a
life.
large?
Don't worry about
This
the
is.
size.
I didn't think it was gonna fit me.
How does it feel? How does it feel?
It,
How
kind of
does it
feels
feel?
like a gym shirt. Like if you were in grade 8 gym and they give you like a shirt to wear
Yeah.
for gym, that's what it feels like.
Only the best, Tom.
Good. So on
around
vacation,
here,
you
okay?
don't sweat, you can wear it.
It's nice. Yeah, it's fitness. It's fitness clothing.
It's
I love it.
fitness.
How are we doing so far with our new
He,
platform?
he doesn't have time to watch. He's like
No,
got
I'm talking about
kids
just
there.
Riverside that we got him in on the show. He's here.
This is
I think
Tom's
this is great.
platform.
Yeah.
Max
Is this?
the dog. What is the Max the dog? Tom's story. Max the dog.
I don't know.
It says
Oh, it's because for our Christmas episode, I dressed up as Max the dog and Steve was the Grinch. That's why.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's otherwise known as Max the Dog. Welcome, Tom Story.
This looks great. I'm liking this layout. This is it looks like another show I think is really good. I like the way it's looking. Yeah.
I think, from time to time, what is it? What do they say about copying things, TK? In Toronto, what do they say? The flattery,
Highest form of
highest form of-
flattery. Imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Imitation is the highest form of flattery. And I don't know why I'm bringing that up, Tom, but we thought that it would be fitting. And that
Feels good, though.
clearly you guys are the better show now. And we figured we should learn a couple things from you guys because you guys are on fire in a market that, nobody's watching any Canadian real estate YouTube anymore, clearly.
Do you guys even know what episode you're on? You've got to be like over 300, no?
Maybe. Yeah, for sure. Way over 300.
We're
We got to be, I don't even know.
No. 300 is going to come up around May.
We haven't hit 300 yet?
Yeah.
I could probably check it somehow. But yeah, we're up there.
Around
What-
May, it'll be 300.
You guys just hit 200? Is that why you're bringing that up?
Yeah, 201's coming out tomorrow morning. Great guest. But yeah, just hit 200. And thank you to both of you, by the way, for sending in those videos.
We made the show. We made the show.
Don't let Steve know this program exists because he'd want to play with those stupid sounds our entire show.
No, but this is why your show's good. Is because you're professional and you don't, interrupt each other. And unless I'm on the show, of course. You guys were fucking going
That was
crazy when I
mayhem.
on the show.
That was a
Yeah.
great episode, though.
I love
That was
it.
a great episode.
I had a good time on that
It
show.
turns out I'm the one who interrupts Darryl now. Like, I think there was a point where everyone would say that Darryl interrupts TK more, but
Yeah.
that shifted over the last year. So we're working on that.
We're working on it.
I'm counting to 3 every time before I open my mouth now. So it's like
We're going to therapy.
thing.
Everything's good.
Yeah, I got a really good counselor.
So we're taking calls, Tom, and somebody's
nice.
here. They want to speak to you. It looks like it's the same guy as before. This Chet guy from Alberta really wants to be on the show. Let's see. Chet, are you
How
there?
do you have our
again?
number?
I don't know. I put it out on Twitter, I think, and now we got Chet again. I think it's got to be the same Chet from Alberta. Hang on one sec.
Oh yeah, hey guys, it's me, Chet again from Manitoba. I don't know if you remember me, big fan. Tom Story, can't even believe you're on the show again, and it's live. This is the best day of my whole life. Fuck Steve Carriage. All right, see you later. Toronto all the way.
What the hell was that all about? Holy cow!
Wow. I don't mind getting trolled by Chet.
What is going on with this Chet guy? He's on
is
fire.
Chet from Toronto or is Chet from
I think
somewhere
he's
else?
from Toronto. It sounds like he's from
is he
Toronto
Torontoian?
for sure.
Torontoian?
yeah.
What is it?
He's Torontonian.
Torontonian?
So Mr. Toronto is here. We waited for you to get on the show because our main topic is supposed to be 269 houses sold, new homes sold, and the new is it new condo space or just new homes
I
overall?
think just any new homes with that report. It's actually funny. I had someone that's kind of in the real estate space in BC, but they're not an active realtor anymore.
Steve Carriage.
I was about to say, like, is this a burn? No, it's not.
No.
Like, comment, subscribe, double subscribe. I'm
Oh, hey,
double
Don.
subscribed, and I fixed the show.
Oh, that's Steve.
We got you.
That got me.
Yeah,
That
we got
was
you.
so great.
Anyways, I had someone send me that article being like, what the hell is going on in Toronto? Like,
Toronto.
no homes are selling. So I think, like, what do you think? Like, of people that read that headline, 50% probably think that's total properties sold, right?
I mean, it's a headline for sure.
Yeah.
I don't remember even what the headline was.
That's
I think I
what.
got
That's
it
how
here.
they made the headline.
And
That's,
well, even if the headline's correct, like the initial one, then like every other like account online will take that and take away the word new and just write homes.
Yeah.
So then I think a lot of people get confused by it. But like it's terrible because I'm not to celebrate the fact that no homes are selling will cause a bigger issue in 4 or 5 years from now. Like I wouldn't be celebrating this. Isn't like the market's crashing. It's a good thing. It means like we're building nothing. And over the next few years, it's not going to change anything. There's more than enough inventory. We're going through a downward cycle right now. But eventually that's not going to be a good thing for us. So that's kind of how I see that article. It's like, how many actually are trying to sell right now?
Well, that's
I'd
the
like to know
thing,
that.
right? Well, we were just talking about that. I mean, why would you try right now? Who's trying, right? I mean, I'm about to try, and you got a couple other guys trying, but
start trying. I
Start
guess
trying.
would be the question, because there's people who have to try because they've got a 70% sold building, so they got to keep trying, and that's
Keep
why they're part
trying.
of those numbers. But
Well,
start
that's-
trying right
yeah,
now would
start
be
trying.
yeah.
Daryl,
Well-
are you encouraged by the post road stuff that came out recently?
We were just talking about that. Of course, listen. I was encouraged before. That's why I bought these properties, right?
Right.
So I had a feeling, but this definitely helps me feel like I'm on the right track, right? I mean, see, this is the thing, especially with that property, and I'm not sure, and I'm going to get down to the bottom of this, but I don't know how many. The article said that they sold just under 50%, right?
So that's like 30 units?
Well, see, that's the thing. It depends which units got sold because some of them are 1,500 square feet and some of them are 4,000 square feet. So if they sold, under 50% of the units, but they were all penthouses or all the bigger units, right? So I think in this space, what's happening with construction financing is it's not so much about the amount of units as it is the percentage of the square footage sold, right? And so either these guys got some kind of great financing deal where they could sell X amount and start going, or they ponied up more money so that they could get moving, so that they could entice more people to buy units because the building is being built. Now, they have, 60-something units that they got to sell in that building for big money. This is no easy accomplishment, right? So I think the whole space is really looking at that thing, to be quite honest with you, because it's no secret that luxury is the only thing kind of working in new homes right now. Even if we look at the 269 homes sold, most of those were center of the city, big, expensive, pre-con luxury units, right?
I literally this morning I had a client send me an Instagram message that he had got like somebody else's ad for that Aqua Luna building that Tridel did, like the beautiful kind of bronze looking, like it looks like it's not even real when you drive by it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I never thought I'd ever send you anything about a condo. I thought we were gonna sell our house in Toronto, which is probably worth like 3, and move somewhere else. But like I'm thinking I like this. What do I need to know? And so he's the not quite retirement age, but has a house worth a few $1 million that's looking at that type of product and thinking about buying it. So that is probably, of those 200 people, it's probably more than half were that scenario, right? Because no first-time home buyers buying any of this stuff. Why would they?
How can they?
No, they wouldn't. It just, mathematically, it makes no sense. It's so expensive.
It's too expensive.
Why would you buy it?
Well, but how can they? Unless somebody gives them a whole bunch of money. I think we've talked about this a few times. If you make 200 grand, okay, and you're putting money away for 10 years, you can't afford anything in Toronto. How much do you have left if you make 200 grand as a salary?
Well, you can't afford probably what you want. You can afford something.
Something, but who the heck? No, this is the problem
But
right now.
society would say, like, what are you doing? Like, you're making this much money and you're living in this neighborhood or this type of home. Like, you're like,
But
you're a
Daryl, if you're
failure.
making 200 grand a year,
Yeah. What do you
and
get
you
after
don't have
tax?
some savings, okay, after tax is still
What?
I don't know,
100?
one something, yeah, 100 and
110?
something.
So how far does that go right
Well,
now?
you know what? They should reread The Wealthy Barber and pay themselves first and start putting it into their accounts, and they'll have more than enough money for a down payment.
They should. They absolutely should. The wealthy barber works when there's some money left over
They should
after
have,
like
have everything maxed
food.
out. Two people, 60K each from their RSP, so there's 120. You got the first home savings account up to 40,000 lifetime, so that's a new program that they can take advantage of over the course of 5 years. So you should have a couple $100,000 by the time you're getting into the Toronto market.
And the reality is like, TK, tell me if it's any different for your business, but like, it's very rare I have a single person, even if they have a strong salary, buying a property over $1 million by themselves if they didn't previously have equity in something else. Like this is, it's couples. It's always two incomes, and then not just two incomes, Daryl, but like
Parents.
two families.
Yes, 100%.
Right.
So
all
potentially
family
money from
support.
both sides or inheritance or whatever, and it all plays into it, right? But it's very rare it's one person making that much money buying the average home.
Why would they need to? Like, it's like, you know, the average person, why would they say to themselves, I need to go and buy a freehold property over $1 million in order for me to satisfy my needs? A lot of people who are single, they're going to say, look, I mean, condo is a good life. It's easy for me. And so it just makes sense. If they're used to being in a household, so they're like, you know, 40s, 50s, 60s, then they're going to be like, oh, I would never move to a condo. So they've got that equity, that experience. They're going to go into a home because that's what makes sense for them. But a young person coming into the market with that much equity, that much of a down payment, because chances are they're not going to be big, huge income earners and still single, right? You know, at the end of the day, you got to look at all the different sort of socio-economic influences, which are, if you got money, chances are you're going to find a good partner. The people that I deal with, most of them are like, this guy's got a good job, she's got a good job. He's got a good job, she's got a good job. And like, they're both together. These are like strategic matches in their marriages that they're both
or
coming
one
in.
got a really good job and now the other one's not working. Like I've seen that a lot
Then
too.
that's, of course, that's a next level.
That's
But the average person would be the two high income earner. People are getting together because that's what they've been attracted to, right? So that helps.
It definitely helps. We have somebody from the other studio, TK, who wants to chime in on this discussion.
Sure.
I hope, Tom, you're okay with somebody stealing your thunder right now.
Sorry,
Happy
Tom.
to share.
Sorry for the interruption.
Let's go. We haven't seen him for a while. We thought he was a goner, actually, TK. I was kind of nervous about him.
I heard there was some like a hurricane out on the East Coast there that took out one of his boats, you know, so I wasn't sure. I never heard back from him, so I just figured, hey, maybe he's still out in a shipwreck somewhere. So anyways,
I figured alcohol was involved, but let's see. He's been
I think he's on the wagon. But anyways, go ahead.
on the wagon. Let's see what he has to say.
A message from
Kip Conahan.
Kip Conahan here, boys. Good to see ya. It's been a long time. Darryl, you need to start eating something. Looks like you're getting too skinny. And TK, hit the gym, fatty. All right, boys. What's going on in the Canadian real estate market? I know I got some good updates for you. Toronto's sales of new construction homes in January, 269. You boys used to sell that on a weekend before. Holy smokes, nobody's buying. Now, there was a report about the Canadian real estate market. Guess what? It's not doing so good. Out of all the developed countries, Canada is in last place. Canadian sales, according to the Bank of International something or other, is down 5% in the third quarter of last year. Oh man, that means they're the last place out of all the developed economies. And guess what? America up 12.3%. Oh, America. How about that 51st state now, boys? I bet you guys are drooling to get that visa down south. You know who else is doing really bad? I mean, the only other country that's developed that's also as bad as Canada right now, China. Oh man, Canadian real estate's gonna be a lot of fun to be giving you boys updates on in 2026. Good to see ya. I got somewhere to be. Sayonara, boys.
Great editing. Great editing. Just beautiful editing.
You guys want your views back? Just do a show of that.
No
Well,
kidding. The
it's,
Kip
you know-
Conahan. What's his name? Kip Conahan show.
Kip
That's
Conahan.
a spin-off.
Absolutely. Coast to
Look at that.
coast. All right.
We're not looking so good though here in Canada, and this is the whole problem. Is like, why would you invest in Canada? Why would you bring money into Canada you're not even allowed to. I guess that's part of the problem, right? But like, what are you working on? Because when we used to talk, you sold condos all the time, right? I know it wasn't new homes,
Resale.
but that pushes the market. When the pre-con's not happening, everything else is a fucking disaster. No.
You know what's interesting is we always reference back to how many sales happened in 2021, like that 126,000 number. You know that didn't include any pre-con sale?
Yeah, that's just MLS stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's actually worse than we think for like total opportunity and how many are moving, because the resale got cut in half. The pre-con's 95% gone, if not more.
There should be like a realtor commissions, VIX, the volatility index, right? It's just like how much commissions have been trading hands between realtors and a client over the course of the year. In
2021,
peak volatility. Right now it's just like quiet, not even echo in the market.
I can tell you guys two things I think are kind of interesting. So we just firmed up on a sale for condo buyers that wanted a very specific building in King West. Like they had their eye on this building. That's all they wanted to see. Yeah. And we had made an offer on a listing that came up there in November last year. And the seller wanted like $100,000 more. I'm like, nah, it's not worth that. Let's just wait for something else. So they eventually took it off the market. We re-engaged with the realtor and said, hey, I know you're not for sale anymore, but we still want it. But this is our price.
Yeah.
And they took our price that they were like scoffing at 2 months ago. And honestly, I think the reason they took it, and this is the point I want to make here, is because it didn't show on the MLS. There's no data of what it sold for, because we did it exclusively off the market. Still, they worked with us. The seller had their own realtor, but it wasn't put back on the market. And I think that's why they were willing to take a price that ended up being $120,000 lower than the last asking price.
Because people wouldn't know that it happened?
So
I honestly think that factors into the decision making.
This is a huge thing. Okay, so I was with a client this week who's got a small subdivision, about 200 townhomes in a small town outside of the city. Had a bunch of people who couldn't close, and I said, well, what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to sell those? He said, like, I'm a construction financer. We're going to get it closed. It doesn't matter. So I'm not worried about that, because if I go put those to market, then all of a sudden now it's going to trigger appraisals and all that kind of stuff, not coming in. So I want to make sure that these people can all close, because I want to get the rest of my money first. Then he'll figure it out afterwards. Then when I heard about all of these off-book 20, 30, 40, 50 groups of condos being bought by developers, right? From some sort of buyer groups. Jeremiah was on Uncle Ron's show. And
Okay.
he was talking about, it's a good episode there if people want to check that out. And he was talking about all these buyers in Toronto right now buying those blocks of condos. It's the same thing, right? It's the same thing. It's off the books. No one knows about it. No one's going to find out. It's just, we need the money, but we don't want to affect the market. We don't want to lose face. We don't want to, whatever their reasons are behind it. There's deals out there.
Mm-hmm. And you know,
high end market, right? Talk to like some of the biggest luxury agents in Toronto if they're doing exclusive deals still, and they'll tell you absolutely.
yeah, you don't want the days on market to start ticking if you're testing a price. You'd rather do it exclusive first and then put it on the market once you get the feedback. And the interesting thing too is like we know, like it's very clear in the data that the condo market has not bottomed out yet. It's likely still to dip in price for the foreseeable future. Like we don't have the proof yet that it's gone sideways. But when you look at what's actually trading and you average out, and I'm talking about last asking price, so whether they reduced the price, changed, relisted, or they just were bang on from the beginning, they're averaging downtown like 96 to 97% of the asking price. So it's like, I don't see, and TK, tell me if I'm wrong here, Darryl, like I don't see too many properties on MLS selling for 20% less than the asking price. It's like the stuff that's priced right is getting close. But then there's that gap between, okay, when it's priced right, it's the stuff people like, and then the buyers that are like, well, like it's a bad market, I'm looking for people desperate. They want to get another 20% off the ones that are already bang on where they need to be.
Yeah.
Instead of going, and then the ones that are, and then, by the way, there's like 80% are still overpriced sitting on the market, not moving.
Yeah.
But the stuff that is trading is like, we were multiple offers twice last week for condo buyers.
It's a little bit more normal.
Where?
in the commercial space.
One was downtown and one was Young and Shepherd, but neither of them went over the asking price. Like I'm not saying it meant anything other than the fact that
Demand.
yeah, there's a little bit, but for a very specific type of property in an overall slow market, right? But it's like if you're a buyer and you know there's 100 options and you funnel it down to 10 and then you go see the 10, you're only probably going to like 2 or 3 of them. There's probably a lot of other people with that same mindset. And then it's like there might only be 2 offers sent that day for like a group of 100 condos, but they might both be on the same property.
Right.
So I think that's what's happening.
Why? What's so special about those condos you're talking about?
So other than obviously being priced where they need to be, in both cases, it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom with a parking spot and a locker that's owner occupied. That is sub $700,000.
Sub 700,000 and
For-
downtown and at Young and Shepherd for $700,000. That exists for 2 bedrooms. What size
be
is the 2
shocked.
bedrooms? 680 square feet.
No, because these aren't brand new buildings, right? These
Older
are
buildings,
10, 15, 20-year-old buildings that have $2 million in the reserve fund, and you know exactly what you're getting. Think back, those ones when those were built, those had the better floor plans, anyways.
Right. What kind of maintenance fees do those buildings have these days?
Yeah. So what we're seeing normally right now is like pretty average. We're seeing 85 to 95 cents a square foot. $1 a square foot is not that crazy anymore. When I started doing this 12, 13 years ago,
Right?
60 cents a square foot, 70, 75 maybe. Like there's no doubt maintenance has increased significantly, especially from 2020 till like 2023. Like that, whatever the pandemic did to everything, maintenance fees got crushed.
Yeah. They had like 6, 7, 8% annual increases in some of their fees. But yeah, a buck was unheard of before. A buck was unheard of before.
A buck?
Yeah,
Is
it
that
was
where
only
we're
the,
at, though?
only the really old buildings had it, and it was like maybe a sign of mismanagement. But now it's like a buck is a buck. It's like okay, it's reasonable.
Buck is a buck.
For the old one, if it's a buck, but they have great amenities and hydros included, it's like, all right.
Yeah.
What I'm worried about, like I'll give you one specific example.
Yeah.
I have not sold in this building recently because of this, but I can't tell you exactly what happened. One, the Esplanade, backstage on the Esplanade, it's located very well.
Great.
Like
Yep.
very well.
Yep.
It's a 2017 build. Good developer. Their maintenance fees are $1.30 a square foot. I don't know what happened, but like I can't recommend my clients buying that building specifically because it makes resale really difficult.
Wow. See, this is a big problem.
Especially before
these
with the homeless people.
Well, especially
and then
that.
across, your neighbor for a while was the Novotel, right?
Yeah.
But these maintenance fees, a large part of them are because of the amenities in the buildings that most people don't give a shit if they're there or they're not there. I think most people would trade the party room and the squash courts that don't get used, or the golf simulator, or the whatever the fuck, and
The dog spa.
like all the stuff that nobody uses for lower maintenance fees forever. You
Or
think?
just
I
more
think.
functional space. So we're the Masters condos, Mill Road, Etobicoke, Tom, you know those? They're converting like squash courts into like more gym space or something like that. Like huge, a lot of buildings, shared amenities, high maintenance fees, $1.10, something like that. And beautiful resort-like indoor outdoor pools, all that kind of stuff. And they're like, well, nobody's using the squash courts anymore. Let's convert some of that space and make it into something that's what people want.
And you know what no one talks about with maintenance fees is we talk about like the total amount. And like TK, you know this, in the status certificate, it breaks down what's the unit, what's the parking spot, what's the locker. And you'd be shocked. Like we sold a condo at 35 Mariner Terrace that shares that super center between the 4 buildings, that like massive. So it's like
6,000 square foot.
great
whatever.
amenities, right?
Yeah.
725 square feet. Maintenance fees were like 640 something. So like 88, 90, 89 cents a square foot.
Yeah.
And then, but if you looked, the parking spot, the maintenance on the parking was about $25. So that's what it added for having the parking spot.
Reasonable. Yeah.
We then listed another condo at Young and Egg literally last week. We got it sold really quick. The maintenance fee on the parking spot in that building was $125 a month.
Just the
So I
maintenance
feel like
fee.
That
The
portion
total
of the
maintenance fee?
Just the maintenance fee on the parking spot?
Just the parking spot. That's what I'm
Holy
saying. It's like,
Christ.
it's so, every building is different. And it's like,
a month? $125 a month for the parking spot?
But there could have been like during their audit or something, they're like, we've got to do something.
Oh, we lost Tom.
We got to do something for like the garage. Like there's a maintenance item coming up in the garage. So therefore we're going to increase that portion on that parking spot element. So that means that somebody budgeting it for the next 10 years. If that guy's got 3 spaces, we want more money from him because we've got to do, it could be something like that. But yeah, all those things you got to take into consideration. But what Daryl's point is, I think, is how much
wants 'em?
amenity space is being used. The condo I was in on this week, again, under construction, occupancy starts in the next couple months outside the city. And I'm looking at their amenity space and it's nothing. It's just like a lobby. Like right now, because it's just concrete, it just looks like that's the lobby. But they're like, there's a gym and there's like a bathroom and like there's like a reading area, and then you can go up those stairs and you can like go out on the terrace. Like it was nothing. That's what people want.
But that's
That'd be
what
fine
people
for me.
use. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is nobody wants. I don't know. It's not like it used to be. Now, maybe it's just me, but when I go somewhere and there's a public pool, it's kind of fucking gross. You know, like if you think about what the hell's in that pool and what is constantly just being added into the pool, all like consistently all through the day, it's like, who the hell wants that? And who wants to share it with other people?
don't you feel like there used to be this thought of like that condo communities were like this actual communal living, and you'd really spend all your time in the amenities and meet people?
Those are
and I
called
don't know,
rental buildings. That's before condos.
I guess, yeah, they really sell that fact as well. And I don't know, maybe we just actually don't want to talk to other people that often and want to stay in our units and not like, I don't know.
I think society's changed. My relationship
Very
with my
different,
neighbors today compared to when I grew up, it's like totally different.
Totally different.
know,
Nobody,
you don't-
everybody keeps to themselves, right?
Yeah, you don't have that same level of social interaction with your neighbors anymore. And so when those other condos were built, which were older people, right, then they had more interaction. And I bet you, like, if you're a boomer, you talk to your neighbors more than a millennial does.
If you walk down the street, like older people will stop me and just start talking to me, or if I'm pushing the stroller with my kids, like they want to talk.
They want to interact. Yeah,
they're
because
lonely.
they grew up with that. Now now everybody is on the phone.
Text me!
Right? No,
Yeah.
but they don't need the social interaction out there because they get it on the phone. So they feel like, you know, my son doesn't go out like I used to go out every weekend, but he's on the computer with his friends, so he feels like he's interacting socially. It's a little bit mental, right? That they'd rather stay at home on their own computers and all play together than to go out to a bar and, like, you know,
Tell us
find
about
some
that, Darryl.
chicks.
What did you do? What did you do when you were
When I was that age?
19. 19-year-old Darryl. Let's go
19?
back.
Oh,
Was it
my God.
1968?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the date is, Tom. Come on,
1942?
Tom.
Hang on. It was 1942. I remember like it was yesterday. I think it was D-Day in Normandy, and we were sitting on the beach waiting.
What really
for
happened, Darryl? What really happened?
When I was 19, I don't know. I used to go to bars and drink a bunch of beer and smoke some weed and, go for girls and get rejected at the bar and like go home with my friends, but we'd go out first. Or we'd get a whole bunch of drinks and we'd sit in the park and just get stupid with each other all night. Like we did a million things. We would just go drive to Duff's for wings in Buffalo when I was a kid. We'd just drive to Buffalo because we wanted some wings. Because, I don't know. We just felt like we needed to do shit. But now, don't get me wrong. I sat in front of Nintendo a lot. I sat in front of a computer a lot. But I also wanted to go outside. Now I feel like they don't fucking care about anything but like being on the social media and on the computer games. And it's like, I don't know how you deal with it because it's everybody, right? It's like you can have young kids and think, I'm gonna keep the phone away from my kids and I'm going to keep my kids sheltered. But like, good luck when they're the last ones without a phone. Have fun with that shit.
My 4-year-old came back from school the other day and said, "Hey, Dad, this kid in like my class, he plays video games with his dad." I go, "Oh yeah? What games is he playing?"
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, "We're not playing video games. You're 4."
My son grew up with a Wii remote. Before he could even walk, he got up on the ottoman and grabbed the Canucker,
I wish I liked video games. I think I'd connect with my kids a little bit more. VR I can do, but like the video game things are just, I'm not a big video game guy.
You got a video game chair behind you, though. You got a gamer chair.
He's got a gamer chair.
Yeah, this is like a chair I bought for my son for this computer because this was his old gaming computer. So I like it.
It's a beautiful chair. We got another caller that wants to get Tom before he goes. I know Tom's short on time today, but we got one more caller here, and it's Chet from Alberta again.
If anyone
TK.
attacks Tom, all right, just let him. I know where you guys live, all right.
How come nobody else is calling in? How come it's just this guy? Okay, Chet.
Nobody else has the number. No one even knows how to call in.
He's not even asking questions or anything. He's just rambling like a fucking idiot. Hang on a sec. Okay, Chet, this is your last chance. You got Tom's
Are you
story
from Toronto
here.
or are you from Manitoba? Be honest with us.
Oh yeah, hey there guys, it's Chet calling from Manitoba again. Thanks for taking my call again. I'm a real big fan. I love you guys. I've been watching the show since day one. Tom Story, you are the man. Toronto, I love your show. Fuck Steve. Fuck Steve.
Oh, another great addition to the show.
Well, useless content from Chet, but hilarious.
That guy's banned.
Hilarious nonetheless. So, yeah, Tom. So what's the direction of is March going to be any good or what? What's going to happen?
There's going to be a lot of listings. But I'm really interested to see the February numbers because I know that the January numbers sucked, and we'll see if the weather actually made a difference in February. The year-over-year numbers, I was anticipating eventually as we get to March, April, the year-over-year sales numbers I think are actually going to look okay. I don't think we're going to be negative every month anymore. I'm very strong in my opinion. Other than like maybe like a really great semi-detached house in Riverdale that might go up in value a little bit this year. Everything else, I just can't see a world where prices go up. So I think most people have time to make decisions. And
Central Toronto, nothing's for sale. You can't find.
I've got a buyer in Leaside right now that's complaining to us with a huge budget,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I want a $3 million house. Can you get me one?" I'm like, "Well, when they come up," and a lot of it's trading off market, and we've been trying to go that route.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck.
That's it. So that's the
West End, Central East, same issues.
Oh, I mean,
nothing's for sale.
Bloor West, every house is getting 10 offers. So it's like I think that's my outlook is like these great neighborhoods we know that we trade in and our clients want to live in, they're going to be active. I don't think prices are going up, but they're going to be active.
Yeah.
Everything else that's not prime is balanced and price sensitive. Yeah. And then condos are the condo market. And if you price it right and it has parking and it shows well, it will move, but it takes 35 to 60 days usually. So yeah, that's my outlook. I think March there will be more inventory and it will be a good thing. And there's a lot of people that I think are like wanting to do things, but they're just nervous. Like,
Well, they should be.
Buyers, you think will be buyers? You're talking about, right?
well, I think the people that are like really into this, like watch our show, your show, Looney Hour, Uncle Ron, everything.
Yeah.
I actually think have a tougher time making decisions sometimes because there's so much information they're being given.
Yeah, and it's all bullshit.
It's tough. Yeah. So, and then some is good, some is bullshit. Like it.
Speak for yourself, Daryl.
Yeah, well,
Come on.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like I
It's
think that
confusing,
the people
especially
that I
when
have,
I change my opinion every week.
yeah, the people that I have just calling me that don't really know me from this, they're referred to me are like, yeah, like we're really excited, we're buying our first condo, and they're
know
not
what's
coming on the
going
call like super cynical. And I actually have to kind of push back and go, okay, but if you buy, it could go down in value for at least the next 2 years. Like it's very possible. So I want you to know that before we start.
Yeah.
right.
And they're okay with it. So
They're okay with that going down?
They
Well,
want to live
because-
somewhere. Yeah, they want their own property. They're not looking at selling it in 2 years.
No, but they should be kind of scared because, I mean, how many of the people you're working with are in industries that you're kind of looking at them going, man, this guy's probably going to be unemployed in a couple of years. This guy's fucked.
yeah, I feel like there's obviously a lot of worry with AI, but I don't know. Like it's hard for me to have an opinion on that because I don't know.
The only job that I ever am like super concerned about when people tell me like this person is the buyer, like qualifying or whatever the situation is a realtor.
Realtor?
It's the only one
Yeah.
where my sellers are like, so what about the buyer? Is he qualified? And I'm like, he's a realtor.
What if he's a realtor and a YouTuber?
I'm like, oh
Then
no.
it's really,
No, that's
uh-oh.
I don't know how he's getting this money.
That
you know?
guy's fucked.
That's the only job. Every other job, I'm just like, yeah. He owns a freaking landscape company. He's doing.
Oh, we just lost your audio.
We lost your
TK.
audio, TK. We had a bank executive referred to us that wants to buy a downtown condo just because they're forced in the office again. I mean, it'll be their secondary property, but they're like, yeah, we're gonna buy something. It's not gonna be huge.
Where
not
did
crazy
they
price.
move to? Like, did they go to Bancroft or to Meaford or like?
Not
did they-
Meaford. They're
No,
out. I'm not gonna
Meaford?
say
Nobody
exactly.
went to Meaford. That costs a bunch of money.
They're outside. They're like an hour at least outside the city. And they've decided like they're gonna be in the office and they're gonna buy a condo because they want one. So like, I mean, that's
God
not. But
damn it! I gotta move back into the fucking city. Like I can't do this drive anymore. Fucking stupid decision. Oh my god.
But like, back to work is also a nothing burger. That's not going to change condo sales by 30%. There'll be a few. There'll be a few. It's maybe will actually help the rental market in terms of like the supply coming on. That there'll be people there like I'm not going to buy, but I'll rent something to.
yeah.
I'm not gonna have to worry about like vacant home tax or any of that stuff. I'm not there enough time. Like it doesn't matter, right?
I don't know. I mean, well, TK, your mic's still out. We were going to save it for a little later in the show, but like big news in jobs. I mean, jobs definitely in construction are getting hurt a little bit. You back here, TK?
I'm back. Sorry,
Thank
Tom.
God.
Just I'm talking rentals.
yeah,
Are
go
you
back
seeing
to
people
that.
converting their listings? So they say, I want to sell. They can't sell for the price they want. So then they're deciding to rent it out. Or a buyer who says, I'm nervous about buying. I just want to rent instead. Are you seeing more of that?
We had 3 of that happen last year with listings that became rentals. Mostly though, like expensive condos, like $1.5 to $3 million condos that we couldn't move, and then we rented them out. All actually to like athletes were our tenant, like Toronto sports athletes for all of them.
Really?
Which is kind of cool.
What kind of rents are we talking about for those things?
6,000 on one, and I think 11,000 on the other.
See, TK?
What do
That's
their
exactly
financials look like?
Well, I know that you can look it up online. They're at, like I can't tell you who they are, but like it's public and it's U.S. dollars.
Yeah. But this is the whole thing, and this is what that other article I was talking about earlier, TK, was talking about, is that there are so many like rental condos or apartments going for ridiculous amounts of money every month, $6,000, $11,000, $30,000 a month, and it's underserved because if you want it, you have to. You have to be lucky with your timing if you want to move into something really nice and rent in a building, right? Because there isn't a lot of inventory of that. There's stuff that says it's that. That's everywhere. But when you get there and you go, like, who the fuck laid this place out? Or what were they thinking? Or, the kitchen is a piece of shit, People that are spending that kind of money, they don't want to live in that. They want new, beautiful, like, right? They want top. You're paying $6,000 a month for your rent. That place better do some pretty amazing things, right, to your nether regions. Or why the hell are you doing this? 10,000, 30,000. It better be good, no?
Well, with these ones, they have massive outside spaces. I think that was part of the draw, even though we live in Canada.
Yeah.
I don't want to take too much on your show. I think you guys are going to keep talking, but
Forever, you go.
I want to ask you, Darryl, the one condo that gave back all the contracts. I know this was news like 2 months ago.
Yeah, not all, but most, yeah.
Like
The
300
cherry
of
picked
the,
a few, yeah. The key.
Sure. But didn't the original purchasers pay like $1,800 a square foot anyways? Like,
Yeah, but
so
they're going to go for more now.
that's what I was going to, but you think
Yes.
someone's going to pay 2,200 a square foot for that?
I personally do not, but I don't
Okay.
know what their plan is to make bigger units, less of them, and charge more,
Right.
which makes sense for that address. The problem is that who the fuck wants to live on the 80th floor and pay that kind of money? Like, do those people really exist, or do they just buy apartments on Billionaire Row in Manhattan and leave them there and don't live in them so that they can tell people that they bought one, or likely some other nefarious reason to buy something like that, right? So, but who is the buyer? This is what I keep telling when people call me and say, Darryl, what should I do with my site? I don't know what to do. Who's the buyer? You have to find an actual person that's gonna buy now. And guess what? Like, where can you aim right now? Either the cheapest shit on the planet or the best stuff on the planet, right? So where's all this inventory? It doesn't exist, right? How many new condos, actually, I wanted to ask you, how many new condos have you heard are sitting on the market in inventory for builders? Because I thought it was like 20,000, and now everybody's saying 4,000.
I don't have it in front of me, but we had a presentation from Sean Hildebrand on this like 2 weeks ago from Urban Nation, and it was still a fairly big number.
Yeah.
It was more. I'm pretty sure it's more than 4,000. But even we're talking about built leftover inventory, right?
Yeah.
That could be even that stuff. It's like, but it's not the 1 bed plus den. These are big units that are expensive that are sitting around. No.
I doubt
Well,
it.
if
No,
you
those
ask-
are the ones actually moving, from what I can tell. People want the 3 bedrooms. They want the 2 bedrooms. But
But
again,
they're expensive.
They're expensive. So who's your buyer for that?
Well, it's a downsizer. That's who it is.
I don't know.
No, it
who the
is. Like,
fuck it
that's
is.
who else is the buyer? Like, if you have, I mean, I guess it's lifestyle dependent, but if you had $2.5 million to spend on a condo, wouldn't you rather buy a house in a great neighborhood instead?
No, not if my legs didn't work anymore. and I
Okay,
couldn't
no,
go
but
up
I'm-
and down the stairs.
You know, so
TK.
I'm talking about, we already established like the downsizers are one of the buyer pool, but other than them,
Yeah.
if you're
Who has
a
money?
35-year-old couple and you have a
money.
kid, you're not
You're
buying
fucking
that.
broke. Yeah, you're broke.
Okay, fine. 45. Let's assume they have the money.
yes,
What would
house.
you buy?
House.
House.
Yes. The
Right,
answer
right.
is yes. Of course,
Yeah.
they would buy a house.
If you had a choice, but your choice is Toronto or Milton or Newmarket or somewhere that you probably don't want to
2.5
live.
gets you a nice house. You can buy something great in Bloor West. You can buy something great
Yeah.
in the beaches. You can buy something great in North York. You can buy, there's lots of neighborhoods. in
2.5
Toronto.
is good.
High
Sure.
Park buys
I'll
you a
tell
good
you
lot.
guys one last little thing, and I'll let you go, or you'll let me go.
We'll let you go.
We have the opposite thing.
We run the show here, Tom.
I just had someone that's been trying to sell their house in a market outside Toronto for like a year and a half. Okay,
Yeah.
like Northumberland County side of East. Okay,
Where?
like past Durham.
Coburg.
Yeah, past there. Yeah,
Okay.
like not quite Trenton, but on the way. And she's like, okay, we just sold the house. Now we're coming back to Toronto, and they sold their bigger house in this market to come back, and they're going to work with us to buy something in Toronto, and it's going to be a smaller house for the same amount of money, like a much smaller house. So
Smaller
they're
house,
making
same
they're coming
money.
back to the city,
Yeah.
which is weird. Like, I don't know. I guess it's just a lifestyle.
That makes
preference,
sense.
right?
Well,
You move
I
from
mean,
Coburg to Toronto, same amount of money, smaller house.
That's your,
So for
you-
them, it's just the commute, it's the lifestyle, it's whatever.
But they're
and
willing to have less to
Yes,
come back.
Of course.
And
Same
even
reason
like
people moved out there was they got more.
I was FaceTiming with these clients from they live in Kelowna right now. The view from their condo is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And they're like, Tom, it's so goddamn boring here. There's nothing to do. Everything's beautiful. There's nothing happening. We need to come back to the city and have energy. I'm like, all right, Let me know when the condo out there is sold, and we'll help you. But like, it's
I'll sell you
interesting,
a
right?
house. Yeah, sure.
So,
Well,
all right.
I mean, people's lives change and their needs change. And it's like I was even saying, these people that live in Yorkville now, I mean, imagine you spent all that money in Yorkville and now there's fucking bums everywhere. It's not the same as it used to be. Every condo that's been put up over the last 10 years is a typical fucking condo.
Yeah,
You know, it's like
fans girls are like all over the freaking patios. And
what are they
taking up
called?
all the matcha cafes.
Yeah, and they got the sugar babies all over the place.
Yeah, go to
and the
Sophia for
hookers.
dinner. Just look around.
Yeah, there you go.
But
I've
I
heard
mean-
from other people that told me that.
Right. But these people, I
I'm
think
not
they want
accepting
to,
invitations.
but they want to move back to somewhere different, right? Like it's like you move out to Bancroft because you thought it was a good idea because you could work from home, and now it's like this fucking Bancroft. I can't even find a good place to eat dinner, right?
Yeah.
The Greasy Spoon is closed on Sundays, and like I don't know what to do with myself.
And
for
there's nothing
God's
on
sakes,
Uber
right?
Eats.
And
Yeah.
there's nothing on Uber Eats. Well, Tom,
That was fun,
you
boys.
have always been a pleasure. I don't know why, quite honestly, but we love you over here. You're
Hey, could you show me that Dawn clip one more time before I leave?
the Don
for the
or the Steve clip?
Well, the Steve Dawn,
Steve the Don.
Don
One
Steve.
moment,
just so
please.
anyone that came later can see it.
I think I can figure it out. You see, Steve fixed
Better.
the show.
He's better than Don.
He's
That was
much
so
better than
good.
Don,
That was so
right?
good.
Yeah.
But I
It's
mean,
AI.
we do have Don still, and he wants to counter that. Opposing views, same message though, and everybody ignores both of them, so it really doesn't make a fucking difference. But Tom, you go for it, TK.
Thank you for coming today.
Thanks,
Enjoy the-
boys. Are you guys
enjoy the
doing a
weekend.
show tomorrow, or is this the tomorrow show?
This will be the tomorrow show.
Okay, awesome. Well, happy Sunday, everyone listening later, and thanks, guys, for having me. This was great.
We
Who's the best
appreciate-
real estate podcast on Saturdays, Tom?
That's right. Who?
On Saturday. Oh, this live show.
That's you're
Just making
goddamn
sure.
right, Tom.
All
You're
right.
goddamn
Good.
right.
You're welcome
You
back
passed the
anytime.
test.
All right, thanks, boys. Bye.
Take it easy.
Are you a real estate agent and you're looking to make a change anywhere in Ontario? Guess what? We're hiring. Franklin Associates, #1 team in the GTA for all REMAX teams, #1 team for all teams from all companies for number of units sold throughout Toronto. So if you're looking to make a change, best decision I ever made was to join Franklin Associates. Go to jointeamleo.com and we can set up a call.
Well, TK, I think that first guess of the new format has been a resounding success. I mean, the guy on the motherboard is a disaster. There should have been a round of applause for Tom, no?
Next time.
There we
Next
go. It worked.
Yep.
Not well, TK. It didn't work well, but I'm learning. TK, we didn't really talk about this. We started talking about it, but people are losing jobs, TK. And
People are losing jobs. Yeah.
can't be good for anybody. And I don't know if we've seen the beginning or we're in the middle of this job loss thing. The numbers don't look good, but we haven't seen the losses from the construction industry, I don't believe yet, because there's still a lot of construction going on. But I feel like it's slowing down now.
Big time. Like 100%. Everybody that I'm talking to who's actually in the construction industry is terrified for their job right now.
Terrified. Like,
They're
do you have
terrified.
clients that are in construction looking
Absolutely. I have clients coming to me saying I haven't been able. You know what it is? The condo
to sell or to
the-
buy?
they need to sell now because they don't have
Sell, yeah,
jobs.
yeah.
The condo guys are still like, grabbing at straws because they're getting a little bit of work here and there, finishing off. There's been a lot of condos, right, that were
Yeah.
built, and they had all these, crews, on site. But it's the end purpose-built rentals are coming and all these different things. It's the low-rise guys.
Low-rise guys.
The low-rise guys don't have any work.
They don't have any work.
There's no
Right. Really?
300 home subdivisions being built anymore, and those
Right.
haven't been sold, and they got finished already.
Mm-hmm.
That area is where the construction guys are really hurting. And then I was talking to another guy he's been on the show, who does additions, and he said the same thing. He's like, it's slowing down. The amount of people right now who are able to afford to do renovations at home is nowhere near what it used to be. Line of credits are more money. There's lots of competition. There's a lot of new companies entering the market because they're all trying to compete for the same business.
They
Because
need
it's tough.
work. Yeah.
It's tough. And the
So-
guy said he's hiring. He says all want like a lot of money. He's like, they want a lot of money to work and do the job.
Well, what happened is at the peak, everybody needed a job and everybody needed people to work. And so they threw, like guys who don't deserve even $20 an hour, they were getting $35 an hour. And the guys who wanted, we're supposed to get $30 an hour, end up at $50 an hour. And so when things are moving and grooving and you need bodies, that kind of works. It doesn't
That's
work
my
great.
wage now, right? That's
Right.
my wage.
But that's how it works. And now, right, the bar is set. And so
Yeah.
when they lose their work, they think that they're still worth that, right? It's the same with the people in the office. But the problem with all these people out in the field right now is they're really is drying up. And I ran into a guy that I used to know back when I was a general contractor. We used to do the home show together. We were both kind of starting our contracting career at the same time. And he's grown a big business, general contracting, and I went in a different direction with development. And I happened to run into him the other day. He was actually, I guess he's doing some work on one of the streets that I have a project on. And I was like, hey, what's going on? And he goes, oh, like, it's much slower right now. And I kind of wasn't expecting that, to be honest, because these guys have been busy for years and they're everywhere. And they do really good job. They win awards and everything. But I guess it's just, the cream rises to the top, right? If the good guys and the guys that are known for being busy quality and award winning are slow, then what the fuck is going to happen soon, right? Because these guys are smart enough to recognize maybe it's not slow now, but like they know it will be soon, right? Like nothing's coming down the pipe.
Exactly. They're busy now, but all those orders that they normally would have, or all those sites that they'd be planning 6 to 18 months from now, those aren't happening anymore.
No, and then you look at like the amount of quotes that people are requesting or the amount of quotes you've put out there, and you look at the past, you go, shit, like we don't have enough to get what we need, right? And so my conversation with him was like, are you able to at least keep all the good guys you have? Because when things, or actually I was like, are you scalable, right? Because this is what happens when you have a company like that, is the market goes up and down, or you become busy or slow and you don't get enough time to sell, or you have too much time to sell. Like it's hard to get these things to be like even and efficient. So when you're rocking and rolling and you have good guys, if you've been in the business long enough, you know how important it is to keep those good guys, right? And keep them fed, because when you lose them, you're never getting them back again. Somebody else is going to swoop them up and keep them busy, and then you're fucked, right? Because now you got to train Puhar, okay, who had never even seen a goddamn hammer before, let alone he shows up in sandals, for fuck's sakes, to do construction, right?
Yeah.
Like, but this is what you got to deal with. Now you got to train them all from the beginning. But meanwhile, it's like the business is drying up. The people are probably flying anywhere to get like maximum dollars per hour, right? And it's got to be a mess to try and finish a job right now.
So these are the new terms of living in the developed world, But there's no war here right now. Look what's going on in the world, right? There's a lot of places everyone thought, moving to Dubai was a great idea because I'm not paying any tax. Well, I hope today you're doing well and you're safe. But the reality is look what's going on right now in the world, and that there's a reason why people want to move to Canada.
Well, that's a great segue, because I just got breaking news from Aiden in my ear here. He just said, what is it, 2 hours ago? We're just hearing it now? Iranian Supreme Leader found dead. Bombed dead, TK. So, that's a good commercial for not living there, I suppose. Or, again, like you're saying, moving here. As shitty as it is here, it's way better than there. Right. And I guess a bunch of other places. No.
Yeah. So these, again, are all the things that, you take into consideration. We got to be optimistic. We got to look at the future. What are you doing with yourself? Are you upgrading your personal skills? Are you getting used to the AI revolution? Are you, building yourself into, being a better person? Are you running your business more efficiently? Are you spending your money wisely? Are you, checking every single area that you're wasting money in and trying to make yourself more efficient? Because if you're not, and you're just blaming the economy and blaming the government and blaming this and blaming that and everything else, I got some news for you. Doesn't matter what's going on outside, you're going to have issues, getting yourself on track. So I think that's the best thing is when the Great Depression happened, the people who were like living as like a child and teenager and young 20s with no work and no job prospects, and you made $1 and you're like, oh my God, like I'm going to hang on to this forever, had an incredible mindset going into, you know, the rest of their lives on how to be able to, you know, do well and be prosperous, which is why we ended up with the Industrial Revolution, and it's why we had, you know, after World War II, you know, so much success in all the different areas. So I think that's something that is going to be what's necessary for us, is come out of these hard times, get ourselves all back on track. Our kids, you know, you and I's kids are going to be, you know, positioned to be successful later on when the whole world is completely different from the way we know it today, which is what's happening.
And I mean, even last week or the week before, you and I were having a disagreement about the speed in which the world will change and jobs will be lost because of AI, right? Yeah. And I still truly believe, and I think we've just seen some evidence of it this week, that like it's coming way faster than most people think. And so what I'm talking about, and I'm going to bring somebody else on to talk about it because this guy's interesting dude and he likes AI and he's a big fan of the show also, TK. But AI, like the company that Jack Dorsey, founder of Twitter, now X, his company that takes payments that most of us have used, I think it's called Square or Block, or I don't know what the parent company is, but Square Pay, when you go to the flea market and you can pay with your credit card now, it's because of that son of a bitch that started Twitter.
They take Bitcoin too.
They take all kinds of stuff and they send payments across the country quickly. But the point is that his company that had 10,000 employees in it 3 days ago, he decided to get rid of 40%, 4,000 people overnight because AI could do the jobs for them. And the other 60% are far more productive now that they're using AI. And the big part of the story, and the most important part of the story, is not even so much that they could cut that many people and do better, but the stock price went up like crazy. And I think what people are saying is this will signal to other other businesses that are in the stock market that it's safe to do something like this. That not only is it safe to do something like this, but it's the smart thing to do for the shareholders, right? Can you imagine if that...
Coming on the show.
His name is Dave. I think he's been on the show before. There he is. Dave? Your mind control handshake. What does that mean?
Dave's been in the waiting room for about an hour and a half.
He's got a horrible audio. Are you in a wind tunnel?
No.
You have a fan?
It's the mic.
I think it's a bad idea to have a fan in the background. What is that?
Okay.
Dave, measure the... Yeah, that's perfect now. All right, well,
Dave,
sorry, Dave. We tried
our best.
That didn't work.
Anybody has a spot on the show if they want to come on the live show, whether they make it onto the Sunday edits or not, we'll see.
Sorry,
Darryl,
Dave.
do we have any other guests, or is that our grand finale?
We're supposed to have another guest, but I don't see him here, so I guess we're going to have him on
Dave
another
was in a
time.
bunker. Yeah, he'll come back next week.
Dave lives in a bunker. Hopefully he can get things sorted out. We've run long. Holy cow, TK. This new format is
Don's
just
here, he
flew
says.
by.
Don's here.
He's here? Well, you have to join the conversation or
We have 5 minutes left, and we've dedicated them to you, and now you're not here.
I don't see you, and I don't know how to bring you on, but Dave figured it out. He just couldn't get his...
Says he's in. He says he's in.
Well, I assure you, sir, you are not in.
I don't see you.
You have to request something. Here, Dawn. How do I click on Dawn? I can't click on Dawn.
Dave, we tried. We need mic and audio.
Oh, look at that. I can show people's comments up here.
Household. Thank you.
That's cool. Oh, my God. Look, see, this is cool. I can show. Look, Dawn's having a problem. I wish we were using this a long time ago. Get cash, small bills.
2.0. All right. Canadian Real Estate Show 2.0 coming live
every Saturday.
Every Saturday.
11 a.m. on Saturdays. And then with the podcast will still be there on Sunday mornings.
Don't worry.
You can still see the podcast.
You'll have a great show. Hour-long episode. Lots of good stuff.
Better edited.
The best of the best.
The best of the best. But TK, I think it was somewhat of a success. Dawn, I am so sorry, buddy. It's not working. I cannot see you. And TK has to go, and so do I. I'm going to the Leaf game tonight, and I got crazy seats. I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
They're so good. Dawn, I really apologize, buddy. I really wanted to have you on today. Everybody wants to have Dawn on just so that we get a little piece of Dawn. Let's just do this one last time, TK.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I'm double subscribed. Do it yourself. Didn't get to fix the show, though. Didn't get to fix the show.
He didn't get to fix
Don't
the
worry,
show.
Don. We got Steve to help us fix the show.
That's right. Steve, fix the show.